Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you brushed up on your obscure card games, because in this chapter, we find out what all 6 members of the Tobi Roppo look like and their names. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. 2 of them are very attractive, so that's all. Actually, you know what? All 6 of them are very attractive, okay? Especially the one with the mask. Oh yeah, big time. Before we even get into the chapter, I hit 500,000 subscribers, so I felt like it would be pertinent for me to mention that. I know, Barry, right? I know. You were a big part of this too. You've only been part of the channel since, like, I think last July, so not even a whole year yet, but I give at least 70% of the reason I was able to get this far to Barry. He is a time traveler. He went back and influenced my life in ways that you just can't imagine, okay? I'll be doing a live stream, like a milestone live stream for the 500K, either tonight or tomorrow, probably aiming more on tomorrow, but yeah, we also have a new, oh yeah, there it is. We got Raichu this time to honor the 500K, because, yeah, the thumbnails for my milestone videos are, there's a subtle joke in each one of them. I don't know if you can tell what I was going for, but yeah, okay. But anyway, this will be One Piece chapter 978 review titled Introducing the Tobi Roppo. We get the cover page with Chiffon and Lola being reunited once again, and it feels so good. This chapter seems to be like, this edition of the Beiji's All My Family seems to like begin to like wrap things up, like a nice little pleasant moment here, where you got Beiji and Gaudi and Pez is there and Vito's there, and you got Lola and Chiffon, but you also have the other members of the Rolling Pirates, so the Risky Brothers. I don't believe we ever got individual names for them, nor do I ever know that we got like names for any other members of the Rolling crew other than just Lola herself, who is the captain, and then the Risky Brothers that are, I guess, like high-ranking members, like both her first mates or something. Interesting to note that the Risky Brothers look exactly the same from when they looked on Thriller Bark, when they were spending like years living out in the woods to stay away from the zombies and the horrible life-destroying sun, but even now, 2 years later, they're still wearing pretty much the exact same outfits. Has it ever really, by the way, been ever explained why the crew was called the Rolling Pirates? I never really understood that in a big way. It's just like, okay, they're the Rolling Pirates. I don't get it exactly. Maybe it's a reference to something. But, yeah, this is a nice little moment where the Risky Brothers are like, oh, thank you so much for being, you know, reuniting the captain with her long-lost sister. Oh, thank you so much. You guys know that the Marines are still on this island, right? And you know Gaudi just took out his giant arm cannon and just obliterated one of their ships. I think they're going to be on high alert. I think they're going to be wanting to look around to see who is the guy that just brazenly attacked one of our battleships and then escaped with a prisoner. They're probably going to be, you know, combing the island. You guys, I mean, great reunion. That's awesome. You should probably be getting out of there. You should be booking it, okay? But nice little family reunion. It's Beiji's Oh My Family, so it only makes sense there. All right, so now we get into the chapter, and the plan is underway. We have a little bit of a skip forward. We talked about the plan last chapter where Law was like, all right, guys, you know, you samurai, the 9 red scabbards, or at least most of them, you can get in my submarine, and then I can basically just, you know, take you around back Onigashima to avoid, you know, all the mountains and everything, and so we don't have to worry about that. And my submarine can avoid the whirlpools too, which is the reason why the ships can't just go from the back, because Kaido's manor, it was revealed last time, but Kaido's mansion is not like dead center right in the middle of the Skull Mountain, okay? It's more in the back. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to look like yet, because we've never gotten like a bird's eye view of what Kaido's like mansion actually looks like. It might be like in the way far back of the mountain of the skull. It might be like on the outside of the skull, maybe like literally behind the mountain itself or as part of the mountain. We have no idea what it's going to look like, but it's not like dead center right in the center of the giant muffin, okay? So yeah, Law's like, all right, get in my submarine, I'll take you guys around back, and then I'll use my Oppi powers to, like, you know, teleport you from the sub directly onto the shore of the island, and then you can rendezvous with everybody else. Now, they separated here because the whole idea a little bit here was like, okay, well, we still need to have members of the Scabbards leading the force, because that's kind of a big giveaway, you know? If it's just like Kaido or Orochi look outside and they see, oh yeah, an entire armed force, but I don't see the 9 red Scabbards anywhere, that's obviously like a distraction. Okay, the Scabbards are off doing something else. So Kinemon and Denjiro are part of the main force that's going straight through the main bay. You know, the Straw Hats last chapter, they opened that up, they defeated all of those people on that lookout post, and so they could just continue to sail directly into the bay of Onigashima, the way that ships would normally enter, like the way that Orochi's procession entered during the Fire Festival, right? So they're going in that way. Kinemon and Denjiro are going to be part of that force, along with the Straw Hats and the Kid crew, and Hyo and everybody there, the samurai. Okay. Inside of Law's submarine, we get to see Kiku, Kawamatsu, Ashuradoji, and Raizo, on top of Law himself and, like, you know, Penguin and Sachi and all the other members of the Heart Crew, okay? So, Inuarashi is missing, which I'm assuming he's going to lead one of the forces that go around the mountain, because that was the plan. That was the original plan. That was totally the fake plan that Kinemon came up with so he could screw over Kanjuro. Yeah, that was totally the plan. So, I think Inuarashi, he's not seen in this chapter at all. So, I'm assuming that he's going to be leading one of the forces around the mountain, and then Keen and Denjiro are the center point, and then you also have the rest that are on Law's submarine. Law, by the way, is looking kind of disgruntled. He's looking a little like, you know, people in my submarine. I don't know. I'm a homebody, you know. I really don't like it when people are like, oh, would you clean your feet? Oh my God, you're getting mud all over my submarine. You know, he doesn't like people in his submarine. You know, he's a homebody. What are you gonna do? He's Law. Okay. But now, moving on, we got the main force heading through the mouth of the bay, and a lot less resistance than you'd think. I mean, keep in mind, this is, you know, Kaido's entire island, so just the idea that this island is controlled by a dragon god probably makes it so most people stay away. But also, I mean, they had those 3 battleships that went out to destroy the forces. As far as Kaido and Orochi are concerned, they succeeded, because they haven't heard anything back to, you know, relay, oh, all our battleships got sunk, okay, so they're just probably figured, oh yeah, they're all gone, they're taken care of. And then, of course, you had that, like, that fortress at the mouth of the bay, which serves as, like, a secondary, you know, defense. So, you know, if that place got attacked, they would definitely hear about it, but the Straw Hats wiped that whole place out in, like, a matter of seconds, you know, before they even had time to get on the Den Den Mushi or whatever. So, yeah, beyond that, like, actually entering the bay itself, completely fine. There's no enemies. Kinemon, at least I assume this is Kinemon, gives, like, a really impassioned battle speech. He's like, "Steel yourselves, men, for we face the mighty Muffin Mountain at our heads, and Kaido, and we shall take Orochi's head, and we shall have mighty barrels of sake for dinner this eve." You know, he says that, actually, it's a little bit cooler. He's like, "Steel yourselves, men, there will be no going back from this point forward." So pretty damn cool, and he's actually very serious about that in a few scenes. We'll find out about that. But yeah, you have a little moment there where Kinemon, like, look, Kinemon is a good leader, and even, like, in this chapter, we find out, like, parts of his plan work okay. It's just, like, the bigger picture, maybe he wasn't 100% synced up with that. You know, but it's not like everything, he did plan for this day. I don't want it to be, like make it look like, you know, he spent, like, the first, like, 3 weeks not even paying attention, and then last night he was, oh crap, I need to draw up these plans! Man, we gotta get attack on Onigashima tomorrow, we go around the mountain, and then we do this. No, he's planned for this, and part of his plan is shown in this chapter. It's just that, you know, it didn't really get off to a great, you know, first foot forward, but now we're okay. So, they arrive in the Bay of Onigashima, so literally it's like that open place right there of water, and then you got the giant Muffin Mountain looming over it, and this place is overwhelming. Like, it's crazy detail. I love you so much, Oda. The first thing I honestly thought of, and this might be a weird reference to many of you, the first thing I thought of when I saw this place, if you ever saw JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders Part 3, there's a scene when they're in Hong Kong and they go to the Tiger Balm Garden where they fight Polnareff, and it's just the idea that there's so much stuff, so much detail on the page going on that it takes a while to be like, whoa, I'm overwhelmed. I need to kind of like stop, and like you could just like look at this one panel. It's a big double page spread. You could look at this one panel for like 5 minutes and just pick out like every little thing. Like there's lanterns, there's umbrellas, there's like a little like Japanese gazebo in the center of the bay. There is a giant katana, like literally a katana that could be wielded by oars, or maybe even somebody like San Juan Wolf could wield this katana that's just impaled into the ground, and then there's other like Japanese lanterns hanging off the guard of this huge katana. I was wondering if they were gonna bring that up, like if Zoro or somebody was gonna be like, man, I wish I could fight the person that uses that katana. Is that katana gonna be, like, relevant? It might just be for decoration, but it might not be. That might have been the katana that giant, literally a giant in the context of One Piece, the ancient giant that used to, that, like, its skull is now this mountain, might have wielded in its day. I have no idea, but they don't even reference the giant sword. But there's a giant sword in the middle of Kaido's front yard. I mean, he has, you know, impeccable lawn decoration, if nothing else. We see
see it to scale, too, because at first you look at it, and it's like maybe it could be just like a small garden area with a bunch of stuff around it, but no, then you see the ships entering the bay, and they are tiny. And the Thousand Sunny especially is a pretty decently sized ship, and the Sunny is a relatively tiny thing on this, and you see this huge, just giant bay, huge swords, umbrellas, the gazebo, and then the mountain looming in the background. Inside of the mountains, inside of the skull's mouth, there is a giant staircase with torii gates representing like to enter like a holy place or like a sacred temple or something, leading up the stairs. So they enter this place and they're kind of overwhelmed themselves, but Sanji even mentions, he's like, man, this place is huge, and Kaido's mansion is still a ways off too, which we gotta go through all the way to the end of that Skull Mountain, which already the Skull Mountain is like, you know, it's in the distance, it's huge, but this place is huge as well, so you gotta get through this bay and then make landfall and then walk up into the Skull Mountain itself and then climb the steps and then go all the way to the back, which is probably a few miles, few kilometers in and of itself, how big this mountain is, and then you'll finally get to Kaido's mansion. So they still got a lot of work cut out for them, but this place is really cool just to look at, and everybody's just like whoa, in awe, like it's so cool there. You know, and they enter, and Kinemon says, he's like, wow, okay, so there is nobody on high alert right now. Like, you know, this would be like, because there's so many choke points here. There's like high cliffs and everything. They could have snipers ready to go. I would be scared shitless if I was a member of this rebellion and I knew that Kanjuro was a double agent and took that information and went back to the enemy. Like, literally, they could have the entire Kaido's force, like, on the cliffs, because, like, the ships are entering through this, like, narrow choke point. You could literally have, like, a bunch of gifters on the cliffs and just throw boulders and hot oil and just fire down shots, and then there's nothing they can do. That doesn't happen, so Kinemon figures, alright, I guess Kanjuro didn't get back, or he didn't relay the information, or something delayed him. Something happened with that. That is a little unusual, because Kanjuro had a freaking elegant crane that could fly pretty fast and pretty far, and there's no reason why Kanjuro shouldn't have gotten back to relay that information to somebody at some point by now. And so Kinemon's like, well, I guess Kanjuro didn't tell them, so I guess our sneak attack is still on. We gotta go. Not really a lot of time to sit back and think, well, maybe they're planning something else, but hey, it's like, you gotta just go for it, right? No time to hesitate, no time to stop and, like, you know, get our surroundings and take it all in. Like, we gotta move. So they all go into the bay. And Usopp has a really cool moment here. In fact, I don't know if this is an Usopp observation hockey moment. It might be, it might not be, I don't know. But Usopp is the first person to notice that there are guards stationed. Not as many as you might think, and the guards are certainly not on high alert. So the guards don't know anything. This crew, like, it's like 3 people. There are like 3 members of Kaido's crew, it seems like. Yeah, you guys, you're on guard duty tonight out in, like, the front bay area. Be like, I want to go into the castle and party. It's like, you can drink, just chill out, we have to have someone on guard at all times. So it's just a small number of guards, all drunk off their asses, just hanging out by the bay, and they're just getting drunk and like, hey, don't those look like ships in the distance? Yeah, we didn't hear anything from the fortress, don't worry. And before they can even, I mean, they're already drunk, but before they can even question it, one of Usopp's pop greens just and just hits him in the face, and this a flower just blossoms out of this dude's head, and it emits like this these spores, this aroma of, like, you know, like an anesthetic kind of thing, and just knocks him out like freaking chloroform flower. Just and it just knocks them all out right there. So they all get put to sleep, not a big deal. But the way Usopp did it was so sleek, because it's not until after Usopp fires the shot do people notice, like, I thought I saw guards over there. And Usopp's like, nah, don't worry about it. They're asleep, not a big deal. So it's literally like they're going into the bay, and Usopp's like, my Sniper King senses are tingling. Wasn't there guards over there? Oh, no, they're asleep, not a big deal. So Usopp was on point with that. I'm thinking, he had binoculars, so he was looking around, but just the way he sensed it, it was just like, you know, so observation, I mean, I'm assuming he's worked on it a little bit since Dressrosa. It's been a couple weeks since then, at least a month or so. So a little bit more impressive there. So, they now begin disembarking their ships, because they figure, okay, there's not a lot of guards here, but it's a really big place. There could be people coming out at any moment. We don't know the whole, I mean, they know the general layout of this place, but they don't know, like, every little nook and cranny. So, they're like, all right, we need to get off these ships, because if they look out their window and they see, like, no, it wouldn't be 5,000 ships, but, like, hundreds of ships carrying 5,000-something samurai in their front bay area, they're gonna be a little, dubious about, like, hey, what's going on over there? So all of the samurai get off of the ships, the ones that Frankie and everybody fixed up at the port over in the Curry region, the Weasel port, and immediately all their ships just sink. They sink their ships immediately. And Luffy's looking at that and he's like, whoa, what's going on? All the ships they came here on are sinking. And Kinemon, he, in a really epic fashion, Kinemon's like, it's all right, Luffy Dono. We planned this. No, we won't need ships to return, or now we can't turn back. So, there's a few practical reasons for this. One of them being what I just said. It's like, okay, get rid of the ships, sink them. That way, if they look out in the bay, they know that, oh, okay, there's nothing out there, so we're good. And the invading force has already made landfall. The other really big reason for this is because this has actually been done historically. There's a few examples of this. The one that I read is the story of the Strait of Gibraltar, which is the strait between Africa and then there's Spain on the other side. And I believe the person who actually originally conquered Spain did this. This was like 1,000 years ago. They were crossing that Strait of Gibraltar, and when they hit landfall in what is now Spain, they sunk all their ships so they could not retreat. It was kind of like a morale sort of thing, where it's just like, all right, men, we made it here. We're on another country, another continent, across the sea from our homeland. It's either we take this place over and we complete our mission, or we die. There is no retreat. We will burn our ships, or we will sink our ships. And so that was sort of like an inspiring thing for a lot of the men, because it's like okay, well, we're doing this. Can't go back now, even if we wanted to. So it kind of lights a fire under your ass. It's just like, all right, well, I guess we can't go back, so I guess we're winning, right? Yeah, damn straight. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that's how the country of Spain was founded. So anybody that knows more about Spanish history, I guess comment below on how that exactly went. But that's not the only example. There's been other examples in history of people, like commanding officers, like ordering the ships burnt or sunk to just avoid the idea of retreat. And that, inspires them to move forward, right? So, it's a good idea there. Now, Usopp and Chopper, they get a little upset. They're like, wait a second, does that mean we have to sink the Sunny? Because we didn't sign up for that. And Frankie is so pissed about that. He's like, over my damn super butt! He doesn't actually say that, but it's Frankie. He was thinking it. Over my super balls are we sinking this damn ship? And Jinbei's like, no, it's okay, it's alright. We can hide some ships. We can't have, like, hundreds out here in the front yard. But yeah, we can hide some of them. We'll just disembark the ship. It'll be fine. I'm assuming the same thing with the Victoria Punk. All of the ships that we actually care about. All these other ships were just built within the last couple of weeks, from like scrap wood and everything they had lying around, and they put it together, and that's all we had. So anyway, they sink all their ships, and everyone's like, oh wow, Brook is like, wow, these samurai are very dedicated. And like, yeah, I mean, hey, that's what they're doing, right? So they all basically disembark it like that. There's probably an actual name for this. I'm just going to call it a Japanese-style gazebo, because it looks like a gazebo. And it's right in the center of the bay, and once again, it's pretty big. So they disembark there. They all get off. I don't really know where they're going to disembark the Sunny. I'm guessing there's like a cliff or some like little inlet or somewhere. Don't make it obvious. Don't anchor the Sunny right in the middle of the damn bay, but you could probably find some way to sneak it away. So on the other side of the gazebo, it's sort of like, here's the bay, gazebo's in the center, and then you got a bridge, like an arced bridge that goes to the mainland, right at the foot of Muffin Mountain, okay? So they all disembark, they start going over this arced bridge, and there's a lot of people here. There's like literally thousands of samurai, so it's gonna take a while. It's like, okay, first group, go over the bridge. Second group, go over the bridge. And Chopper and everybody are looking on the other side of the bridge, and they start to notice more and more of Kaido's forces are arriving on the other side. More and more members of the crews wearing like the bondage gear and the horns, and everything. Like, oh, whoa, where all those enemies come from? We gotta get ready for battle. And Robin's like, oh, no, don't worry, Chopper. See what's actually happening. So you look, and when the samurais are walking over, they're starting from that one end of that arced bridge, and right before they exit the bridge, they pass through sort of like an archway over it that has a leaf on it, and whenever they pass through that little archway, that little banner, they poof, and they transform into one of Kaido's, like, minions' outfits. So, like, you know, the Beast Pirate apparel, you know, they got, like, it honestly kind of looks like a little bit like leather bondage gear, if we're being straight up. They got the bondage there, and they got the horns, obviously, and, you know, they got the, like, the boas, because, or, like, the feathered coats or whatever, you know, the cloaks, and so even when Kids Crew walk through it, honestly, I can't see much of a difference when Kids Crew walks through it, because they're already like a heavy metal band aesthetic anyway, so they look pretty much, that actually fits them rather well. And then we find out that it's actually Kinemon's secret technique. His garb fruit has a secret technique, and it's actually the Keen's Great Clothing Store, where he doesn't really explain how it works, but like I said, they were walking under this banner, and this banner had a leaf on it. So normally how his clothing fruit usually worked is you take a leaf, or you take a rock, or anything, and you put it on your head, and then I'm gonna borrow your straw hat here, Luffy. Yeah, Luffy, Barry, whatever. And you put it on your head, and then he activates his clothing fruit no jutsu, and then poof, and then you get clothing that he, you know, well, he you know, pictures it in his head and creates it on you, right? And if you take it off, it disappears. If it gets damaged, it gets disappeared. But in this instance, it's like he can make it so a large number of people, he doesn't have to have everybody put a, you know, piece of rock or leaf on their head. He could just do it with everybody, just pass under this thing. I'm kind of curious why he didn't do this during, like, this seems to be much more applicable than the rock thing. You know, I don't get that. Like, why didn't he do this during Punk Hazard when all the kids were freezing? Like, kids, put rocks on your heads and you'll be good. And it's like, why didn't he just, like, okay, kids, just step through this portal and you'll have warm clothes. Like, I don't know why. This seems more practical, but okay, fine, whatever. It's his special, it's his Ogi, it's his secret technique, so it takes some time to set up, maybe, but I don't know, that's just the way that they can explain away, and that's actually one of the cool things about Kinemon's fruit. You know, I always thought maybe Kinemon, could you make armor with your clothing fruit? Could you do something like that? I mean, like, he says he probably, honestly, he could create, like, samurai armor, but he also mentions here if it gets damaged a little bit, it'll disappear. So that kind of defeats the whole purpose of armor, right? So he could probably make it on you, but it's just, it's more for just, like, literally just disguising you to get into a place. And, hey, this is very applicable in this particular instance. The Straw Hats also all run through the portal and the little banner, and they all get Kaido uniforms as well, and here they are, and Nami is, of course, sexy as ever. She's got, like, okay, I was thinking, if you were wondering, like, if Nami's outfit wasn't sexy enough coming into to the Battle of Onigashima, if you were slightly disappointed by that, there you go. And we also, we don't get to see Robin. Yeah, we see Sanji, Nami, Luffy, Zoro, Brook, and Chopper. We don't see Frankie's outfit. We don't see Robin's. You know, if they, I guess they haven't passed through it yet. I can't see any reason why they wouldn't. But yeah, I can't wait to see Robin's, but Nami's is looking rather ravenous, I would say. Sanji's in the background just being like, oh, Nami Swan. Couple of interesting things to note about this costume change, though. One thing is Luffy's scar apparently has disappeared. Now, I know because Luffy's wearing, like the straps literally go like an X over your chest, and Luffy's scar is sort of shaped like an X, so maybe it's covering it up, but I don't see Luffy's scar on his chest at all. That might just be an error on Oda's part. And I also don't really see the scar on Zoro, but also Zoro's a little bit further in the back, and keep in mind, Zoro's scar that he got from Mihawk, that's literally just like a straight line, like diagonal down his chest, and the, you know, so you can, that makes more sense to me that like the strap would just cover that up. But Luffy's scar, it just seems to have disappeared, and that's a little weird. I see Chopper with the little horn, like this little spike poking out of his hat, and then Brooks in the background. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, Nami's out. Hold on. I was gonna hold this off until the 500K milestone stream, but okay, Barry, let's go get our bondage gear on. It's time to do... Okay, no. Maybe someday that'll be that, you know. Okay, but anyway, they all got their outfits on. The samurai are ready to go. We say Denjiro, he's got the outfit on, and they're like, okay, here's the deal, everybody. Kinemon's like, look, you're all dressed like the enemy, so basically, have at it. it's the enemy base. We made it here. I'm not going to say the hard part's over. That was definitely a hard part getting here, but, you know, the battle is actually going to begin now. You're dressed like the enemy, so you could probably manage to go pretty much wherever you want undetected. This is actually really smart when you think about it, because you got, like, thousands of samurai all dressed like Kaido's minions. Even when they figure out that the samurai are dressed like your minions, you're going to start to second guess, like, okay, wait, I don't remember you. Are you on our team or are you not? Like, no, I am. It's like, I don't remember you. I'm like, no, I joined up 2 weeks ago. I'm like, yeah. And then, shang, I'm like, haha, I was a samurai this whole time. So that's actually going to cause dissidence in the crew big time if it's handled right. Now, obviously, members like the Tobi Roppo, the headliners, the gifters, you know, obviously they're all going to probably know who they are because they're just like the superior commanding officers. But the people that are like the pleasures and the waiters and the people that are just the foot soldiers of the crew, you're going to start to second guess. Like, I don't remember seeing you around here before. I'm like, no, we've been friends for we've been comrades in arms for 3 months. I'm like, I don't know. You know, and that might start some infighting on top of this force, so pretty damn cool. So Kinemon is like, have at it, raid the place, and that's because that's the point. I mean, like, you know, raid the place, kind of slaughter everybody and take Kaido and Orochi's heads. Like, that's what they're here to do. You know, they're not going to hold back. It's like, all right, men, now that you're dressed like the enemy, raid the castle and make sure to just knock everybody out. We don't want to have too much bloodshed. No, I mean, like, there's probably a limit to how much Oda can show, being a shonen manga and all, but let's not forget, like, the whole goal of this is raid the castle and slaughter every one of Kaido and Orochi's forces! That's kind of what they're doing here, so, yeah. So they all go, you know, and also, oh, by the way, Kinemon's last little thing, I love this, like, yes, go and raid! Keep in mind they outnumber us 5-1, but go ahead and raid to your heart's content! So all the samurai are like, yeah! And, they begin the raid, and that's the last we see. That's the last scene of that. There's like all cheering for Kinemon, and they begin the trek up the mountain, or around the mountain, or, you know, they're going into every nook and cranny and, you know, taking out as many people as they can. That's the goal there anyway. So, now we cut away to the Fire Festival already in progress. We cut to the last scene of the chapter where we have an awesome dance number by Queen the Plague. Oh yeah, you know it's gonna get funky up in here. My name is Queen, and I'm here to say I stay fat like this because I'm funky today. So he does this awesome dance number. We see Onigashima, like Kaido's manor. Like, once again, we don't get to see it from a distance like a bird's eye. We don't see what it looks like outside, but we see the inside of it. Giant, like, reception hall. And when I say giant, it's like a multi-tiered reception hall. It's got trees in it. That's how big this reception hall is. It's like a giant courtyard. It's got multiple levels. It's got bridges over it. And then Queen's way up on, like, one of the higher levels, and he's just doing this big dance number. You got lights. Everybody's dancing like a freaking... It's just like it's a rock concert. That's basically what it is. So yeah, Queen's got his microphone. He's just like, oh yeah, let me hear you say it. Get loud and get proud. Go waiters. Yeah. Go pleasures. Yeah. Gifters. Let me hear it say it. Yeah. Headliners. Yeah. Tobi Roppo. I said Tobi Roppo. And the Tobi Roppo don't say anything. And then Queen's like, yeah, well, whatever. They always ignore me, those rascals. All right, numbers, let me hear you monsters scream. And the numbers just make a bunch of random noises like, you know, and Queen's like, you guys are way out of tune, but let's get some Mimi Waga Baba up here. And it's the samurai squad. I don't know what the hell I just said, but that was like the Mimi Gawara. That's the samurai squad that work under Orochi. And they're like, now the Oniwabashu! Yeah! And I hear we got a special guest tonight. Let's hear it for Big Mom's children! What? Everyone's like, wait, what? They are here? Huh? Okay. So, god damn, I love Queen. Queen is awesome. Real quick, just we go through all the different layers of Kaido's crew here, which is just like a clever and funky way for Oda to be like, all right, I'm going to throw out all the forces that they have to fight against, all the different levels of Kaido's crew, but I'm also going to do it in a funky dance number because I'm Oda, okay? So first we got the waiters. The waiters are at the very bottom. The waiters are probably like those guards that Usopp knocked out in this chapter, probably the forces that were at that base, probably the people that attacked on the ships. They were probably all waiters and pleasures. and there was a few gifters on there as well as like commanding officers, but most of them are probably pleasures and waiters because they're on the very bottom. Waiters are just ordinary people that are like probably new to the crew that are waiting to get their devil fruits or their smiles for the chance to make that gamble. Okay, so they're lowest level. They're probably like entry. And then you got the pleasures. The pleasures were the ones that ate the fruit, but remember, 1 out of every 10 only actually receive the power. The other 9 out of 10, they are failures, and they no longer can swim, and then they're forced to laugh and smile and be merry for the rest of their lives, and they're basically stuck that way. They can't stop that, and I don't think they can ever try to eat another smile again. So they're the ones that gambled, and they're the ones that lost. So they're like the second level up is the pleasures, okay? And then you got the gifters, of course, the ones that 1 out of 10 that actually ate the fruit that did receive the power. Then you got, speaking of the gifters here, we got a gorilla gifter, we see a wolf gifter. The wolf gifter has like, he's like standing up and he's got hands, but then his like upper body is also a wolf. And then there's another guy, oh, he's a giraffe dude. Oh, that's so cool. There's a giraffe guy with, oh my god, that's so weird. Okay, so we can kind of barely see this giraffe dude, but he's like, okay, picture a giraffe, like a regular ass giraffe. Just picture a regular giraffe, okay. Now, cut off that giraffe's head. Just bear with me. Cut off that giraffe's head and replace it with the upper torso of a human male. That's what this guy looks like. He doesn't have legs. He just has the giraffe neck, and then the neck just turns into his upper body. And then that's his body. Oh god, that is some eldritch horror, you know, right there. Okay, then we get the headliners. Now the headliners are the chosen gifters, like the best of the gifters that become commanders or headliners. Okay, so I would say every headliner is a gifter, but not every gifter is a headliner. But that's not even accurate because we know Basil Hawkins is a headliner and he's also not a gifter. He's like another member, but he might be one of the sole exceptions because we know Hold'em is a headliner, he's a gifter. Sheep's Shed was a headliner and a gifter. So it seems like Hawkins might be the lone exception to that because he kind of came into the crew later, and Apu might also be a headliner, so he came later, but most of the headliners are probably just very elite gifters. And here we see a headliner that has like at least 4 arms, and he has like a barrel of booze in each one. There's a woman that at first I thought it was just like a regular woman. We didn't really see her ability. And then there was a gorilla gifter behind her, like another gorilla gifter than the one I just showed you. But no, it looks like it's a regular woman that has 2 giant gorilla arms just coming out of her back. So she's like this, and then she's got these 2 giant hairy arms that are just like, woo, you know, attached to her. And then we see like a dwarf-looking dude, once again, not a dwarf like a Tontata, like a D&D dwarf, like, you can count on my axe, you know, kind of dwarf in the background, and we don't know what kind of animal he is. I don't see one. And so, yeah, so those are like the chosen gifters or the headliners, and then the Tobi Roppo are the 6 flying headliners, the best out of the best of the headliners. So there you go, who are, I also would assume, are gifters in that state. Or at the very least, like when you're not even gifters at that point, because page 1 had a straight up regular Ancient Zone Devil Fruit. X-Drake, of course, has the Ancient Zone model, you know, it's the Ryuryu no Mi model Allosaurus, and page 1's a Spinosaur. So I would assume, yeah, the Tobi Roppo don't have, you know, smiles. They have like actual legit Ancient Zones. So we now cut to the last scene of the chapter. We see Orochi very briefly just chilling out with some of his harem, but then we cut over to the Tobi Roppo. Alright, so we get to see what they all look like, alright? And they're all gathering together in this big, you know, meeting room or whatever. And so we already knew about X-Drake. We already knew about page 1. Although page 1 shows up to this wearing a mask, so I didn't really know who he was at first. I'm like, oh, right, that's page 1. He's got the hair. He's got the mask. Okay, cool. Then the other members, I'm just going to show you the other members as we go. You know, I'll just show you all right now. So first we have Ulti. Ulti is named after a Hungarian card game, so anybody that's from Hungary or Austria or around that general area might have heard of it. I looked this up on Wikipedia. Even the Wikipedia article says, like, Ulti is a card game that literally nobody knows about unless you're from that area. So I'm like, okay, I'm not sad that I didn't know about it. So that's Ulti. You know, between translations, from the spoilers to the first translations to this official translation, it's kind of ambiguous, because in this version, the Viz translation, it directly says, yeah, Page 1 and Ulti, they are brother and sister. In the other ones, it's kind of like, the way that she calls him, is she calling him that just to screw with him, or, you know, just like as a joke sort of thing? But I'm going to assume, just based that they're all both wearing masks, and other members of the headliners of the Tobi Roppo are also wearing masks, but their masks are very similar. I'm going to assume they are brother and sister, at least for right now. But Ulti is very cute. She was the one last time we saw wearing the high heels and was walking, so that was her. But yeah, Hungarian card game for her, and she's got horns off her head, like all the Tobi Roppo have some kind of horns, except for like X-Drake. Then we got Page 1 himself. Page 1 is named after a Japanese card game, which, reading the rules for that finally, it just reminds me of Uno, because apparently Page 1 is similar to like Crazy 8 or like Uno, where you have to have one card left and then you say Page 1 and then you win, or it's based off of Crazy 8 or very similar. There's actually 2 card games in Japan that actually go by the name Page 1, but yeah, it just reminds me of Uno, so just think of Page 1 as Uno, it's fine. And then we got Who's Who, which is a card game that was developed in Britain. Most of these card games that we see are all 3-player card games, like that's like the running theme here, okay? So let me get Who's Who. There's a character in One Piece now just literally called Who's Who, like that's his actual name. That's going to be confusing as hell. Like, all right, in this chapter, we got Who's Who versus Frankie. No, well, who's fighting Frankie? I already told you. Who's Who is fighting Frankie. Right, yeah, but who is who fighting Frankie? You haven't told us. It's like Frankie is fighting a man by the name of Who's Who. I don't know who he's fighting. Who is he fighting? Who's who, dumbass? So it's like we're getting some Abbott and Costello crap up in here. But yeah, guy's literal name is just Who's Who. And he's wearing a mask, and he was the one that walked in wearing having the sword. He was the one with the cool loafers, and he had the sword, so he fights with a sword. Okay, and so the sword actually kind of resembles Enma a little bit. It actually, the scabbard kind of resembles Enma with like the flower design, but the guard resembles more of the Kitetsu guards. Not saying there's a connection between any of them. I'm just, you know, just trying to describe the sword there. But yeah, he's got the mask covering the top part of his face, so we only see his mouth and his nose. They're not even his nose. It's like a Batman mask. It goes down like this. Okay, so then we got Black Maria. Black Maria, also a British card game meant for 3, is giant, like huge. Like literally you have like, okay, you have like a balcony, and then you have the meeting table where 5 of the Tobi Roppo are meeting, and then Black Maria is so, or I guess Maria or Maria, I kind of want to say Maria, I don't know why, but that's what I'm going to. Black Maria is behind everybody, and like she's huge, so she's like standing up behind them over the balcony and watching everyone and listening to their conversations. So she is a giant, or maybe even bigger than a regular giant, which is great because we haven't gotten that many really sexy female giants. I think the only ones we got were, well, Gerd, we got Gerd, and also that giant that was also a member of the giant squadron at the Marines. But beyond that, not really so much. I guess Big Mom. Big Mom's almost a giant, right? But yeah. And then we got X-Drake, which I think we're all familiar with X-Drake. X-Drake is not named after a card game, but X10 could mean like the card 10 in a deck. But that also might indicate, well, he's not a card game because, you know, one of these things is not like the other because he's actually a member of Sword, so he's not really a member, like an official member of the Tobi Roppo. He's just undercover right now. So X-Drake is hanging out there. And then we got the last member, Sasaki. Okay. This is the one, and I wrote these all down, but this is the one that I had the hardest time trying to figure out. Okay, from what I can understand, there is a game similar to Gene Rummy, but it's not like a straight-up card game. It's also kind of a board game, and it's called Troika Jun Sasaki. And like I said, it's like a board game, so it doesn't really fit along with the card game thing, but it's similar to Gene Rummy, so I guess. And Troika is a Russian word, or it comes from a Russian word, I think, that is similar to like, or means like 3 of a kind, or 3 of a set. So 3 of a kind, that's a playing card term, right? Like 3 of a kind, you know, but I'm not really sure on that one. So Sasaki is the one that I'm kind of the most dubious on, so maybe some people can shed some more light on that. But Sasaki, he's pretty cool. He's dressed like a Yakuza boss. He's got the cloak over him. He's got super long mane of hair. He's got 2 giant horns that are coming out this way. And he was the one wearing the sandals, like the wooden Japanese sandals, walking in the last chapter. And he's there, and he looks like, honestly, I don't know, because Black Maria, she looks pretty strong too. You know, obviously, they were actually having a discussion. They were talking about, like, hey, guys, what would happen if Queen were to kick the bucket? If Queen were to die, who do you think would be the next Calamity? So already that confirms that, like, yeah, the hierarchy literally goes Kaido, and then the Calamities, and then the Tobi Roppo right behind the Calamities. So if one of the Calamities were to die, then one of the Tobi Roppo would take their place. So they're talking about, like, who's going to be the strongest Tobi Roppo? And I think they indicate X-Drake is a contender, and X-Drake is like, I have no interest in that. And then Ulti is kind of like she has like a very sarcastic, and she just like snaps at everybody in a very like a sarcastic kind of way. So they're talking about that. But yeah, they basically come down to being like, all right, so why the hell were we summoned here so urgent? Like, we were summoned so urgently, and yet we're being kept waiting. You know, what the hell is Kaido doing? And, you know, Sasaki's like, well, usually when this kind of stuff happens, when we get summoned like this and we're kept waiting, and Kaido personally is the one that summons us, you know what it usually has to do with. And Ulti kind of finishes his sentence, and he's like, yeah, it has to deal with family. What the hell is Kaido thinking? Everyone's like, whoa, what the hell? You don't make jokes about, you know, like, because she's being like kind of giving Kaido some attitude there. She's kind of like shit talking him. She's kind of like, oh my god, we keep getting gathered together every single time he has a family issue. What the hell is Kaido doing? He's like, you're kind of crossing the line there, Ulti. And so that's the end of the chapter, where we get the Tobi Roppo in the full extent there. All right, so I'm just gonna say this right now. You know, I said it as kind of just guessing, you know, last time, like, which of the members of the Tobi Roppo will have which dinosaur fruit. I think they all have dinosaur fruits. I think they do, continuing the trend that page 1 and X-Drake set up. You know, and the whole idea of, like, you know, also the Calamities as well have ancient zones. But looking at all of their character designs now, I feel very confident in locking in my thoughts here. I think Who's Who is going to have the Stegosaur zone. I think just the mask, it resembles like him transforming into a Stegosaurus to me. So I'm going to go with him for being a Stegosaurus. Sasaki's horns that come like this, they kind of resemble Triceratops horns to me. So I'm locking in Sasaki's going to have an ancient zone Triceratops. Black Maria is huge. I'm going to go T-Rex. Lock in. Black Maria is a T-Rex zone. We know page 1 is a Allosaur. No, page 1 is a Spinosaur. X-Drake is the Allosaur. And I'm going to lock in Ulti. Ulti was the one I'm the least sure of, but she's a little bit more, you know, smaller, like petite than the rest. So I'm going to lock in Ulti as a Velociraptor. Velociraptor Ulti. Okay, so, I've placed my bets, and I guess we'll see how the payout goes when we finally get their zones. But I'm pretty sure none of them are going to have smiles or anything. Like, I'm pretty sure they all don't have smiles because their physical appearances would change in a big way. Pretty sure they all have ancient zones just to continue the trend. And yeah, maybe Oda might do that, or maybe he might pick some more obscure dinosaurs that don't get really a lot of spotlight in fiction. He might focus on them. But that's what I'm going with right now. And if it's a big bust or a big fail, hey, I mean, big bust or a big success, that's on me. So yeah, all right. This is a good chapter. Not really that long. It was pretty much just like everybody arriving at the bay, looking at the really cool, you know, opening bay of Kaido's manor, and then doing the transformation, and just having a little bit of a more of like a passioned war speech from Kinemon. And then the last part is just the funky dance number and getting to see the Tobi Roppo. Keep in mind, there's no chapter of One Piece next week because of Golden Week. That's a holiday in Japan, so we'll be doing a week after that. So May 10th is the next official release. So yeah, I'm excited. We're probably not going to see what their devil fruits are for a little while yet, but yeah, I guess the raid is on. Like, literally, Kinemon just ordered them charge in and start fighting, so we're probably going to see some of that next week, I would assume. But it's still a long way up to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you got all the way to the back of that mountain, so it's going to be some work there. And then you got Law's little group circling around, and wherever Inuarashi is, and wherever Nekomamushi is, you still got all that stuff going on. But yeah, we'll see how the battle goes next chapter. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Once again, thanks to everybody for the 500K. Incredible. I'll let you guys know. I'll probably I'll let you guys know in advance when the stream will be. So keep an eye out for that on the channel and my Twitter. Once again, big thanks to Barry. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. This will be Tekking signing out. Funky time!